The first thing I felt was heat, thick, insistent, like a fever dream that wouldn't break. My eyes snapped open to the gray light of dawn seeping through the blinds. And there it was, Mason's arm slung heavy across my chest, his breath hot against the nape of my neck. We'd crashed out after too many shots. But this wasn't just drunk buddies passing out. This was his body molded to mine, spooning me like we were lovers. His hips pressed flush against my ass in a way that made my heart slam like a freight train. "Elijah," he murmured, voice gravelly with sleep, not pulling away but tightening his grip instead, fingers splaying over my ribs as if anchoring himself to me. I froze, every nerve screaming. This couldn't be real. Not with Mason, the golden boy who'd bragged about nailing sorority girls just last week. But then his lips brushed my shoulder, soft and deliberate, and the world tilted into freefall. I twisted in his hold, heart pounding so loud it drowned out the distant hum of campus traffic outside our shitty off-campus apartment in Ann Arbor. Mason's blue eyes fluttered open, hazy but sharpening fast, locking onto mine with a flicker of something raw. "Panic? Desire? Shit," he whispered, but his hand didn't move from my skin, thumb tracing a lazy circle that sent sparks straight to my gut. "Elijah." Last night, we'd been roommates for 2 years at the University of Michigan, thrown together by some cruel housing lottery freshman year. Mason Whitaker, All-American quarterback, broad shoulders from endless drills on the big house field, that easy grin that made girls and half the guys on the team, if rumors were true, swoon. Straight as an arrow, or so he let everyone believe, dates with cheerleaders, bro nights at the bar, the whole hetero playbook. Me, Elijah Harper, theater major with a chip on my shoulder the size of my mom's unpaid tuition bills from back in Detroit. Gay as the day is long, but closeted tighter than a stage prop trunk. I'd crushed on him from day one, stolen glances in the mirror while he showered, jerked off to the sound of his laughter echoing down the hall. But I'd buried it deep, because wanting your straight roommate, that's a one-way ticket to Heartbreak City. Last night had started innocent enough. Midterms done, freedom buzzing like cheap vodka in our veins. We'd hit Skeptics, the dive bar off State Street, slamming tequila shots to celebrate Mason's latest win against Ohio State. The team was there, rowdy as hell, but Mason stuck to me like glue, his knee bumping mine under the table, laughs turning into these loaded silences where his eyes lingered too long. By closing time, we were stumbling home, his arm around my shoulders for balance. His cologne, something woodsy and sharp, mixing with the sweat of the night. We'd collapsed on my bed. His was buried under laundry, and talked shit about nothing, the room spinning lazy circles. Then his hand found my arm, squeezing like he was testing the waters, and before I could process, his mouth was on mine. Rough, hungry, tasting like lime and regret. Kissed back, fire exploding in my chest, hands fisting his shirt as we tumbled deeper into the sheets. Clothes shed in a frenzy, bodies grinding, his gasps against my ear like confessions he'd held too long. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate, all teeth and nails. Him whispering my name like a prayer as we crossed every line we'd drawn in the sand. Now, in the cold light of morning, he was still here, not bolting like I'd braced for. "Tell me it was a mistake," I said, voice cracking, propping up on one elbow to face him. His hair was a mess, blonde strands sticking up like he'd been electrocuted, which, fair, we kinda had. Close, without the buffer of beer goggles. He looked wrecked, stubble shadowing his jaw, lips swollen from mine. Mason swallowed hard, eyes searching mine. It wasn't. The words hung there, simple and seismic. He shifted closer, not away, his forehead pressing to mine in a move so tender it gutted me. I've been fighting this for months, Eli. Every time you laugh at my dumb jokes, or sing off-key in the shower. Fuck. Kills me. But I'm not. I mean, the team. My folks, they'd never. I cut him off with a kiss. Soft this time. Testing. He melted into it, hand cupping my jaw like I was fragile, and for a heartbeat, the world shrank to just us, two idiots in a twin bed, rewriting the rules. When we broke apart, he smiled, that crooked one that crinkled his eyes, and whispered, "Let's not overthink it. Just, yeah, for now. It was a bandage on a bullet wound, but I'd take it. We spent the morning tangled like that, lazy kisses turning to touches that mapped each other's skin like uncharted territory. He traced the tattoo on my hip, a faded script from my first heartbreak, and asked about it, voice low and curious. I told him about high school, the boy who'd ghosted me after prom, and Mason listened, really listened, no judgment, just his thumb stroking soothing circles. By noon, we were starving, raiding the fridge for leftover pizza, laughing as sauce dripped on his chest and I licked it off, playful and new. But reality crashed in with my phone buzzing. A text from his teammate, "Jake, yo, party at the house tonight. Bring your boy Eli, heard he's single and slying." Mason's face fell, the easy vibe shattering like glass. "I gotta go," he said, pulling on jeans that hugged his thighs too perfectly. "Practice, then." Stuff, I echoed, leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed to hide the ache blooming in my chest. He hesitated, then crossed the room in 2 strides, kissing me fierce and quick. "Not like that. Promise. Tonight, after the party, come over, we'll figure this out." I nodded, watching him grab his keys and bolt, the door clicking shut like a period at the end of a sentence I wasn't ready to read. Alone, the apartment felt too big, echoes of his scent clinging to the sheets. I stripped the bed, tossing linens into the hamper, but the ghost of him lingered. What the hell were we doing? Mason Whitaker, star of the Wolverines, sneaking around with his gay roommate? It was a rom-com plot, sure, but in real life, that shit ended in scandal, tears, and a one-way bus ticket back to the suburbs. The day dragged, rehearsal for the spring production of Rent, where I was understudying Mark, ironic as hell given my own chaotic love life. Lines blurred in my head. How do you connect in an age where strangers are just pixels on a screen? By evening, I was a wreck, pacing our cramped living room with its mismatched couch and posters peeling from the walls. The party invite burned in my pocket. Part of me wanted to crash it, stake some invisible claim, but the smarter part knew better. Jealousy's a bitch, and I wasn't ready to play the fool. Around midnight, my phone lit up outside. "Let me in." Heart leaping, I yanked the door open to Mason, disheveled in his team hoodie, eyes bloodshot like he'd run sprints through hell. He didn't say a word, just pushed inside, kicked the door shut, and hauled me against the wall, kissing me like he was drowning and I was air. Hands everywhere, urgent and unapologetic, until we were on the floor, carpet burning my knees as he whispered apologies into my collarbone. "I'm sorry," he gasped, between nips at my throat. Jake kept pushing beers at me, talking about this girl, Sarah, from the Delta house. I told him no, but he wouldn't drop it. Made some joke about me being off my game lately, and I wanted to punch him. Jealousy twisted in me, sharp as a knife. So what? You gonna date her to throw him off? His head snapped up, eyes fierce. Hell no. Eli, listen, this isn't a phase or a fuck-up. It's you. Has been since that stupid icebreaker game sophomore year when you quoted The Princess Bride and I couldn't stop staring. He cupped my face, thumbs brushing tears I hadn't realized were falling. But it's scary as shit. My dad's the type who'd disown me. Hell, the whole town back in Traverse City would. Coach already rides me about distractions. I pulled him down, bodies aligning in that perfect, heartbreaking way. Then we'll be careful. Secrets safe with me. We made love there on the living room floor, slow and shattering, his body over mine like a shield against the world. Afterward, curled on the couch with a threadbare blanket, he talked, really opened up for the first time. About the pressure of the draft looming senior year, the weight of expectations from a family that pinned their dreams on his shoulder pads. About how he'd always felt off, like a puzzle piece jammed into the wrong spot. You're the first person who's ever seen me. Not the jersey, he said, voice muffled against my hair. I held him tighter, my own walls cracking. Told him about Mom's cancer scare last year, how I dropped out for a semester to work doubles at the diner, scraping by on tips and pride. You're not just a distraction, Mason. You're the first real thing I've had in years. That night marked the start of our hidden rhythm. Stolen hours between classes and practices. Texts coded like spies, pizza tonight, meaning come over, doors unlocked. We'd meet in the back booth at Angelo's Deli, knees touching under the table, or hike the arboretum trails at dusk, hands brushing accidentally, until we found a secluded spot to collapse against a tree, breaths mingling in the chill Michigan air. It was electric, addictive, the way he'd look at me like I hung the moon, or how my name on his lips sounded like poetry. But secrets fester. 2 weeks in, the cracks showed. I caught him staring at his phone during one of our lazy Sundays, face pale as he read a text. Dad, he muttered, tossing it aside. Wants me home for Thanksgiving. Bring a nice girl to impress the aunts. The air thickened. And, he raked a hand through his hair. I'll figure it. Like always. The stung. That like always. Our bubble felt thinner, the world pressing in. At rehearsal that night, I flubbed lines, Mark's anguish bleeding into my own. No day but today, yeah, right. Days blurred into a haze of longing and dread. Then came the betrayal, swift as a blindside tackle. It was a Friday, game day against Penn State, the campus alive with maize and blue fever. Mason had begged me to come, front row, wear my jersey, so I did, heart swelling as he scanned the stands during warm-ups, our eyes locking in that secret Morse code. He played like a god, scrambling for a 40-yard touchdown that had the stadium erupting. Post-win, the team's after-party raged at the frat house, and I tagged along, nursing a solo cup in the shadows while Mason held court, all charisma and backslaps. I slipped out for air around 1 a.m., the November cold biting through my jacket. When I heard it, his voice, low and urgent, from the side porch. Yeah, Sarah, tonight was fun. We should. Hang again. Laughter. Light and fake. Then the unmistakable smack of lips meeting. My stomach dropped, beer turning to acid. I peered around the corner, and there he was, Mason, pressed against the railing, Sarah's hands in his hair, her body arching into his like it belonged there. He kissed back, deep, convincing, and when she pulled away, giggling, he murmured something that made her blush. I didn't wait for more. Bolted down the street, tears freezing on my cheeks, the jersey suddenly a noose around my neck. How could he, after everything, the promises, the way he'd trembled in my arms just last night, whispering I love you for the first time like it was a grenade pin pulled. By the time I slammed into our apartment, rage and grief warring in my chest, he was already there, banging on the door. I deadbolt. Eli, open up. Please. It's not what you think. I yanked it open, hurling the jersey at his feet. Then what the fuck was it? Mason? Damage control? Keep the straight facade intact while you get your rocks off with me on the side. His face crumpled, stepping inside as I backed away. No, God. No. Coach cornered me after the game. Said rumors were flying about me being distracted, that Sarah was asking around. He basically ordered me to play along, just for show. One kiss. Eli, one goddamn kiss to shut him up. I swear, it meant nothing. Nothing. I laughed, bitter and broken, sinking onto the couch. You think that's what this is? Some PR stunt? I've been all in, risking everything. My heart, my sanity for us. And you're still half in the closet, lying to everyone, including yourself. He dropped to his knees in front of me, hands gripping my thighs, eyes pleading. I'm trying. This is new for me, terrifying. But I love you, Elijah. More than the game, more than my dad's approval. I was coming to tell you tonight, after I shook her off. Quit the team if I have to. Come out, whatever it takes. The words hung, heavy with truth I wanted to believe. But doubt clawed deep. Prove it, I whispered, voice raw. Walk out there right now. Tell Jake. Tell Coach. Tell the whole fucking world. He froze, the silence deafening. Seconds stretched to eternity, his grip tightening then slackening. Eli. I can't. Not yet. Give me time. Time. The dirtiest four-letter word. I shoved him away, standing on shaking legs. Get out. He did, door clicking soft behind him, leaving me in the wreckage. That night, I didn't sleep, curled on the floor where we'd first crossed the line, sobs racking me until dawn. Betrayal tasted like ash, but worse was the love that wouldn't die, stubborn as Michigan winters. Days bled into a numb routine. Mason tried, texts, flowers left on the doorstep, notes slipped under the door. I'm sorry. I choose you. But I ghosted him, burying in rehearsals, late shifts at the campus coffee shop, anything to drown the ache. Rent open to raves, my mark raw and real, drawing tears from the crowd. Mom called from Detroit, gushing pride, oblivious to the hollow in my voice. 2 weeks post-blow-up, the climax hit like a storm front. It was the day of the big rivalry game against Michigan State, the air electric with Hate Week banners and tailgate bonfires. I'd sworn off football, but Jake, bless his oblivious bro heart, dragged me to the pregame barbecue at their house, claiming it was team morale and I was one of the guys. I went, masochist that I am, nursing a beer on the deck when Mason appeared, fresh from warm-ups, cleats still muddy. He looked like hell, bags under his eyes, uniform hanging looser than it should. Our gazes collided, and the party noise faded to static. He crossed the deck in slow motion, stopping inches away, close enough I could smell his sweat and turf. "Eli," he said, simple as a heartbeat. Jake clapped him on the back, oblivious. "Whitaker, you see Sarah yet? She's inside. Hyped for your big night." Mason's jaw ticked. "I's never leaving mine." Then, in front of 20 teammates, a dozen pledges, and God knows who else live streaming on their phones, he turned to Jake. "Nah, man. I'm done with that." Voice steady, amplified by the sudden hush. "I'm with Eli. Have been for months. He's my guy." Gasps rippled, phones whipping out, but Mason ignored it, stepping closer to me, hand finding mine in a grip like iron. "I love him," he said, louder now, to the crowd, to the world. "And if that costs me the team, the draft, whatever, it's worth it. Because without him, I'm just playing a role." Chaos erupted, shouts. Jake stunned, "Dude. What?" But I barely heard, tunnel-visioned on Mason's face, fierce and free. Tears pricked my eyes as I pulled him down, kissing him right there, salt and victory on our lips. The porch exploded. Some cheers, some jeers, but in that moment, it was just us, the line we'd towed finally obliterated. The fallout was biblical. Coach benched him mid-game, the crowd booing as MSU ran up the score. Headlines screamed, "Wolverines QB comes out in epic pregame drama." Social media lit up, hate from trolls, rainbows from allies. Mason's phone blew up. His dad left a blistering voicemail that ended in silence. Then a tentative "Call me when you're ready to talk, son." Mine rang too, "Mom." Sobbing happy tears. "My boy's brave. So damn proud." We holed up that night, world raging outside, wrapped in each other on the couch. "Worth it?" I asked, tracing the bruise blooming on his knuckles from some post-game scuffle. "Every bruise," he murmured, kissing my temple. "You're my endgame, Eli." Spring thawed into summer, the apartment our sanctuary amid the storm. Mason walked on with a new coach who didn't give a damn about off-field drama, and tryouts loomed with scouts whispering second chances. We road-tripped to the Up, camping under stars that felt bigger now, hands linked over a fire as he opened up more, about the fear that had choked him, the relief of breathing free. But it wasn't all fairy tale. There were nights he woke sweating from nightmares of empty stadiums, days I caught him scrolling hate comments, jaw tight. We'd fight stupid stuff, like him forgetting to text after practice, me snapping about lingering glances from ex-flings. But we'd talk it out, raw and real, building something stronger than lust, trust, the kind forged in fire. By fall, as leaves turned crimson around the diagram, we moved off campus to a tiny house near Ferry Field, our first real home. Walls bare but for photos. Us at graduation. Caps tossed. A blurry shot from Pride in Detroit. Rainbows on our cheeks. Mason proposed during a pickup game, tossing me the ball mid-stride and dropping to one knee in the end zone. "Marry me, Harper. Make an honest quarterback out of you." I tackled him laughing, yes on my lips as grass stained our shirts. The wedding was small, Mom in the front row, his parents awkwardly present but trying, Jake as best man cracking jokes about switch hitters, vows exchanged under Michigan oaks. Rings, simple silver bands engraved with no day but today. Years later, with a cozy bungalow in Ypsilanti, Mason coaching JV while I directed community theater, we'd look back on that morning, the spooning, the shock, and laugh, though the scar tissue remained, a reminder of how close we'd come to losing it all. Love, we learned, isn't a straight line. It's a scramble, full of fumbles and Hail Marys. But damn if it isn't the sweetest play. In the end, it was humanistic as hell, not perfect, but profoundly ours. Two guys from the heartland, rewriting the script, one heartfelt tackle at a time. The hook of that morning lingered like a bruise, tender under pressure. We navigated the early days with the caution of thieves, every touch a risk, every glance a spark. Mason's schedule was a beast, dawn waits, film sessions till dark, the grind of a program gunning for the playoffs. I'd wait up, script in hand, murmuring lines from Angels in America while he showered off the day's dirt, steam curling around us like unspoken invitations. One evening, post a brutal loss to Indiana, he came home shattered, shoulders slumped, eyes dull as he dropped his bag by the door. "They benched me for the fourth quarter," he muttered, sinking onto the couch without meeting my gaze. "Coach said I looked checked out, like it's my fault the O-line couldn't block a stiff breeze." I slid beside him, hand on his knee. "It's one game. You'll bounce back." He shook his head, frustration etching lines on his forehead. "It's more than that. Dad called today, saw the box score, ripped me a new one about wasting my shot, as if he didn't blow his own knee out in '98 and blame everyone but the bottle." Vulnerability cracked open, rare for him. I pulled him close, his head on my shoulder, the weight of him grounding me. "You're more than stats, Maze. More than their expectations." He tilted up, eyes searching. "How do you do that? See through the bullshit?" "Actors curse," I teased, nipping his earlobe. "We read between lines." Laughter rumbled from him, low and healing, and we tumbled into bed, bodies seeking solace. It was slower that night, exploratory, him learning the arch of my back, me mapping the freckles across his chest like constellations. Afterward, tangled in sheets, he traced my jaw. "What if I don't make it? The draft? I mean, what if I'm just average?" "Then you're my average," I said, fierce. "And that's extraordinary." Those words became our mantra, whispered in quiet moments. But the world didn't pause for us. Campus buzzed with whispers. Someone had seen us at the diner, hands too close on the table. Jake cornered Mason in the locker room. "Bro, you and Eli? For real?" Mason played it cool. "Mind your business," but doubt seeded. Thanksgiving loomed like a guillotine. He drove home to Traverse City without me. The 5-hour haul up I-75 a silent torture. Texts trickled, aunts asking about girls. Told him I'm focused on ball. Then, radio silence for days. I spent the holiday with Mom in Detroit, forcing turkey and small talk while my phone stayed dark. Paranoia gnawed, images of him at the family lake house, charming cousins, slipping back into the straitjacket. He returned late Sunday, snow dusting his truck, face gaunt. We didn't speak at first, just collided in the kitchen, his cold hands warming on my skin as I yanked off his coat. "Missed you," he breathed, against my mouth. "Missed you more." But as we ate reheated lasagna, the questions spilled. "How'd it go?" He poked at his plate. Fine. Lied about a study group girl, said it fizzled. Dad bought it. Mostly. But he pulled me aside. All serious. Son, pressure's on. Find a nice Midwestern girl. Settle down after college. Legacy. You know, legacy. The word soured the air. And you? What did you say? Agreed. His fork clattered. What was I supposed to do? Eli? Come out over pie? Ruin the bird. I shoved back from the table, chair scraping loud. So I'm the dirty secret? The Detroit detour till you settle? No, he stood, rounding to me, hands up. It's survival. One step at a time. Steps. I laughed. Hollow. We're roommates playing house. Maze. When does it become real? His face twisted, pain mirroring mine. Soon. Promise. After the season. Always after. I turned away, throat tight. That night, we slept back to back. The bed a chasm. Winter quarter brought fresh hell. Auditions for the winter showcase. I landed the lead in a queer one-act. The boys in the band. Irony thick as fog off the Huron. Rehearsals ran late, and Mason's jealousy simmered. Texts like, who's that guy playing the cowboy? He touch you on stage? I'd roll my eyes. Reply, it's theater. Not Tinder, but it festered. One night, post-rehearsal, I found him at Skeptics, surrounded by the team, Sarah draped on his arm like a trophy. She was all giggles and blonde waves, whispering in his ear as he forced a smile. My chest caved, flashback to the porch kiss. I bailed before he saw, walking home in the sleet, fury boiling. He burst in an hour later, soaked and wild-eyed. Why'd you run? I saw you. Saw me see you with her. Again, I faced him, arms crossed. What's the play here? Mason, keep me on the hook while you parade the beard. It's not. He raked wet hair, pacing. She showed up, started flirting. I was polite. The word spat like venom. Like kissing polite? He stopped, eyes flashing. That was once, and you know why. God. Eli. Do you think I want this? Sneaking around like some ashamed kid? I hate it. Hate lying to them. To you. Then stop. Simple. Seismic. He deflated, sinking to the floor, back to the wall. I can't. Not till I'm ready. The bowl game's in 2 weeks. If we win, scouts are there. One slip, and it's over. Over for football, I said, sliding down beside him. But us? That's the risk we're taking. We sat in silence, shoulders touching, the storm outside mirroring the one within. Eventually, his hand found mine, interlacing fingers. I'm scared, he admitted, voice small. Of losing you more than the game. Don't, I whispered, leaning into him. But we can't keep this half-life. He nodded, pulling me into his lap, kisses turning from apology to affirmation. We made up there on the carpet, urgent and unhurried, reclaiming what doubt had stolen. The bowl berth came with a miracle win over Wisconsin. Mason's arm a cannon in overtime. Celebrations raged, but we stole away to the Huron's edge. Bottle of bourbon between us, toes in the frozen shallows. After this, he said, passing the flask, I'm telling Coach. The team. Whoever needs to know. I clinked against his. And your dad, face to face. New Year's. Hope flickered, fragile but bright. But betrayal's shadow lingered, waiting. New Year's Eve dawned crisp, the kind of Michigan cold that cracks lips and clears heads. Mason's flight to Traverse City was at noon. He'd begged me to come, but I demurred too soon for family drama. Truth, I was terrified of seeing the rejection firsthand, of being the invisible ghost at their feast. He left with a kiss that tasted like goodbye, duffel slung over his shoulder. "Call me at midnight," he said, thumb on my lip. "We'll toast to beginnings." The apartment echoed empty without him. I busied with script revisions, but focus frayed, mind replaying worst cases. Dad's thunderous silence, Mom's teary "we love you," but midnight found me on the fire escape, phone clutched like a lifeline, champagne fizzing untouched. It rang at 12:01, his voice, strained but alive. "It's done." My breath caught. "How?" Dad first after the ball drop. Pulled him into the study, shut the door. "I'm gay, Dad." Seeing someone serious. A guy. He just stared. Then hugged me, tight like when I was a kid. Said he figured, after all the girls that never stuck. Mom cried, but good tears. Asked when she gets to meet you. Relief flooded, hot and dizzying. "Holy shit. Maze." "Yeah." Laughter. Shaky. "Your turn next time." "Love you, Eli." "Love you too." He flew back New Year's Day, bursting through the door with cherry pie from his grandma's recipe, eyes bright as lake ice. We devoured it on the kitchen floor, crumbs everywhere, then him slow, reverent, like unwrapping a gift. "We're free," he murmured. Inside me, our rhythms sinking to a future uncharted. Spring training ramped up, but so did us. Dates now, real ones, picnics on the Nichols Arcade, hands held openly, movie nights at the State Theater, his head on my shoulder without care. The team thawed unevenly. Jake high-fived Mason post-announcement, muttering knew you were too pretty for just chicks. Others grumbled, "But coach?" He pulled Mason aside after a scrimmage, clapped his shoulder. "Play like you love, kid. Makes you unstoppable." Campus Pride Week hit like a revelation. We marched together, rainbows on our sleeves, his hand in mine as chants rose. "We're here, we're queer." Strangers cheered. A few hecklers jeered, but Mason flipped them off with a grin, pulling me closer. That night, at the after-party in the Union, he got down on one knee amid balloons and bad pop. Not the proposal, but a promise ring, silver and simple. "Till I'm all in," he said, sliding it on. The room hooped. I kissed him to cheers. But euphoria's a setup for the fall. Mid-April, betrayal slithered back. Not from Mason, but the world he inhabited. It started with an anonymous email to the athletic department. "Whitaker's a fraud, faking straight to score points. Ask Eli Harper." Attached, blurry photos from our Arboretum hookup, faces shadowed but unmistakable. Scandal detonated. By morning, Free Press headlines blared. UMQB's secret affair rocks campus. Reporters camped our doorstep. Coach suspended Mason pending investigation. His dad called. Voice steel. "What the hell? Son, you said it was handled." Mason holed up. Phone off. Pacing like a caged lion. I found him in the bedroom, staring at the wall, knuckles white on the ring box. "It's over," he said, flat. "Draft dreams, poof. Team hates me." You should go, Eli, before it drags you down. Fuck that. I straddled him, forcing eye contact. This is us against them. Remember, his laugh was bitter. Us? I'm toxic now. That email had to be someone from the house. Jake swears it's not him. But who else? We hunkered down, blinds drawn, surviving on delivery and defiance. I handled the press, no comment, assholes, while he trained in secret, waits in the basement, runs at dawn. Nights were raw, him raging at mirrors, me holding him through sobs. I thought coming out would fix it, he whispered once, face buried in my neck. Not make me a punchline. They're scared, I said, stroking his hair. Of what you represent, real, unapologetic. The investigation dragged, 2 weeks of depositions, polygraphs that cleared us but not the suspicion. Then, the leak source, a jealous walk-on, bitter over Cuts, who'd tailed us for weeks. He got expelled. Mason reinstated, but the damage lingered, whispers in the huddle, scouts calls gone cold. Climax brewed at the spring game, a showcase for underclassmen but loaded for him. Pre-game, coach pulled him, show him why you're worth it. Mason nodded, strapping on pads like armor, kissing me quick in the tunnel. For you, the stadium thrummed, 100,000 strong. He started shaky, interception on first drive, but rallied, scrambling like his life depended on it. Fourth quarter, down by 7, he dropped back, pressure closing, and launched, 60 yards, touchdown. The roar shook the earth. He spiked the ball, ripped off his helmet, and scanned the stands for me, mouthing I love you. We won 28-24. Locker room erupted, hugs, slaps, Jake hoisting him on shoulders. Scouts approached post-game, cards exchanged. That night, at our victory dive at the Brown Jug, he raised a glass to fakes exposed and truths that stick, but victory's afterglow hid the rot. A week later, Dad flew down, big guy, ex-linebacker, face like carved oak. Dinner at Zingerman's, awkward as hell. Small talk over pastrami, then the bomb. Saw the papers, son. Proud you stood up, but this life's hard. On him, nod to me. You sure? Mason's fork paused. Surer than the draft. Dad eyed me, praising. Treat him right, Eli. Or I'll bench you myself. Gruff, but his handshake lingered, a truce. Summer beckoned, a breather. We escaped to Saugatuck. Dunes and lake breezes, bodies bronzed and bare. There, under a meteor shower, he asked again, full proposal this time. Ring glinting. Marry me? Build this for real. Tears yes. Sand in our hair as we tumbled laughing. Yet conflict simmered. Back in Ann Arbor, Mom's health dipped, chemo rounds, me shuttling weekends. Mason tagged along once, holding her hand through nausea, but distance strained us. A fight erupted over Labor Day. Him snapping about my flaky schedule, me accusing him of prioritizing camps. You're pulling away, I yelled. Because I'm scared you'll leave, he shot back. For something stable, not this circus. We slammed doors, slept apart. Morning brought regret, apologies over coffee, make-up sex that mended but scarred. Fall semester loomed, senior year, his last shot at glory, my grad school apps pending. The game against MSU again, rematch of fate. Pre-game. Tension crackled. He was starter. Pressure crushing. I watched from the 50. Heart in throat. Halftime. Down 14. He stormed to the tunnel. Spotting me. Bet on me, he mouthed. Second half. He torched them. 300 yards. 2 picks. Final play. 4th and goal. He faked the handoff. Rolled out. And Dove touchdown as time expired. 31-28. The big house quaked. He sprinted to me over the barrier, kissing me amid flashes, unashamed. That win cracked the draft door. Projections bumped him to mid-rounds. But betrayal's echo? It taught us vigilance, the cost of visibility. Senior year unfolded like a highlight reel laced with undercurrents. Mason's arm drew NFL scouts like flies to honey. Pro days in Indy, where he clocked a 4.640. Lasers for passes. I landed a fellowship at NYU Tisch. Deferred a year to sync with his timeline. We dreamed big. Brooklyn Brownstone. Him in shoulder pads. Me directing off-Broadway. But dreams bruise easy. October brought OSU. The Shoebox Inferno in Columbus. Pre-game hype was vicious. Rival fans chanting slurs from the stands. One tossing a beer can that clipped Mason's helmet. He shook it off. But post-loss, heartbreaker. 24-21. He unraveled in the hotel. They see fag, not QB. All that work, wasted. I held him in the shower. Water scalding. They see threat. You're rewriting their playbook. November's chill deepened mom's fight. Stage 3 now. Doc's grim. I drove home weekly. Mason squeezing in when he could. One visit. She pulled me aside. Frail in her recliner. He's a keeper, baby. But don't lose yourself chasing his spotlight. Her words haunted. At the Illinois game, tailgating with the crew, Sarah sidled up, civil now, but eyes sharp. Heard about NYU. Big move. Hope it doesn't cramp his style. Venom wrapped in sugar. I brushed it off, but seeds of doubt sprouted. Mason's schedule ballooned. Agent meetings. Nil deals for protein shakes. Nights alone stretched. I text miss you. Get busy. Love you back. Resentment brewed. Quiet at first. Thanksgiving redux, his family now knew. Dinner tentative but warm. Mom Whitaker's pie a peace offering. Dad clapped my back. Heard you're the dramatic one. Keep him grounded. Laughter eased tensions. But as we cleared plates, he pulled Mason aside. Whispers. Nods, then Mason's face. Ashen. Later, in the guest room, he confessed, Dad's connecting me with an uncle in the league. Discreet advice on managing image. Suggested. Toning it down publicly. For the draft. Rage flared. Toning? After everything. It's business. Eli. 1 year, then we're golden. I stormed out, walking cherry streets till lungs burned. He found me at the pier, lake black as ink. Can't do half measures anymore, I said. I'm all in or out. He pulled me close, wind whipping. All in. Swear. We returned fragile, mending with touches and truths. December's bowl prep consumed him. I threw into falsettos at the power center. Marvin's turmoil too close. Opening night, he snuck in post-curfew, flowers in hand. You were magic, he said. Back row. During bows. Christmas in Detroit. Mom rallied. Tree twinkling as we exchanged rings. His a Wolverine's chain. mine a script pendant. To our axe, he toasted. But January shattered it. Draft declarations due. Mason waffled, agent pushing early entry. A scout's offhand, great arm, but the lifestyle, teams want clean narratives. Gutted him, hours on the phone, yelling at reps. Fight number infinity. Me accusing him of cowardice. Him snapping I'd never understand the stakes. Easy for you, art's forgiving. Football eats its young. I packed a bag. Crashed at Jake's. 2 days of silence. Then his text, hotel. Now. I went, finding him wrecked, pizza boxes, empty bottles. Don't leave, he begged. On knees. You're my constant. We talked till dawn. Fears unpacked. Compromises forged. He declared late. Staying for a master's in sports psych. I recommitted to Tisch deferral. Bull week in Orlando. Sun and stress. Media hounded, how's queer love affect your game? Mason fielded with grace. Makes me better. Eli's my why. Game night. Against Alabama. Under the lights. He carved them up, 400 yards. 3 TDs. Victory 35-21. Confetti rained as he dedicated the MVP to the man who taught me courage. Postseason glow faded into draft limbo. February. Mom's remission call, miracle scans. We celebrated in bed. Bodies grateful. March Madness. Final workouts. Interviews. A Detroit Combine invite home turf. I flew up, watched him shine amid flashbulbs. Nightcap at the old diner. Booths scarred from my teen shifts. Full circle, he said. Hand over mine. April 25th. Green room at Foxborough. Suits and suspense. His name called third round. Lions pick. Detroit. Home. He crushed me in a hug. Whispering hours. Rookie minicamp. Him in Honolulu blue. Me subletting a Ferndale walk-up. Long distance tested us, FaceTime foreplay. But loneliness bit. Summer training camp. I visited. Bleachers hot. He dazzled. But vets hazed, subtle digs. Fairy footwork. He shrugged it off. But I saw the toll. Fall opener. Lions versus Chiefs. Ford Field roaring. I sat owner's box. Heart pounding. He started solid. 250 yards. Post-win. Tunnel kiss went viral. Pride of Detroit. But conflict crested mid-season. A sports doc dropped. Whitaker's secret. The gay QB dilemma. Sourced from insiders. Twisting our story into tabloid fodder. Implying I was a distraction. Him a risk. Backlash hit. Fans divided. GM's cold shoulder. Mason spiraled. Interceptions piled. Bench threat loomed. They're right, he confessed one night. Video call glitching. Dragging you into this mess. You're not, I insisted. Fight it. He did presser fire. Love's not a liability. It's fuel. Teammates rallied. A vet cornered him. Own it, kid. We got your 6. Turnaround game versus Packers. Revenge in the snow. He engineered the drive, game winner. Fist pump to the sky. Pointing to me in the stands. Season's end. Playoff miss. But personal win, LGBTQ plus athlete of the year nod. Off-season. We bought the bungalow, white pickets. Backyard for barbecues. Wedding planning wove in June date. Justice of the peace in Palmer Park. Invites sparse but heartfelt. Mom. His folks. Jake and a sorority sister turned ally. But betrayal's final twist. Pre-wedding. An ex-teammate from surfaced, the email leaker's buddy, selling exposé photos to a rag. Old shots. Innocuous but spun salacious. Mason confronted him. Fists clenched. Enough. No charges, too messy, but the sting lingered. Vows day. Sun dappled. 50 guests. I walked aisle to defying gravity. Him in linen suit. Eyes wet. In chaos and calm, he vowed. You. Sealed with a kiss. Cheers rose. Reception danced till dawn. Mom's tearful toast. To loves that endure. Honeymoon in Saugatuck Redux. Dunes. Stars. Promises renewed. Married life slotted in like a well-rehearsed scene. Morning coffee shared. His jerseys on our bedpost. My scripts scattered on the kitchen aisle. Mason's sophomore year brought contract bumps. Endorsements for Under Armour with rainbow laces. I directed my first pro gig. A queer Hamlet at the Fisher. Critics raving raw. Revelatory. Mom's health held. She moved closer. Weekly brunches her anchor. His parents evolved. Dad at games now. Hollering from the family section. Mom knitting pride scarves. But scars itch. A 2028 slump. Turnovers. Trade rumors revived old ghosts. Late night arguments. Me pushing therapy. Him bottling till it burst. You don't get the microscope, he'd yell. And you don't get the loneliness, I'd fire back. Couples counseling helped, Dr. Lena. No bullshit dyke with a Packers bias. Sessions unearthed. His imposter syndrome. My abandonment fears. Tools emerged, date nights enforced. Check-ins over beer. Anniversary 1. Detroit crawl skeptics for shots. Huron walk for whispers. He gifted a custom jersey. Harper 12. My MVP. Career pivots came. Year 3. He inked with the Bears Chicago. My theater hub. We relocated. Lakeview Brownstone buzzing with lake views and cast parties. I helmed Steppenwolf's Angels revival. He guest starred in a PSA on coming out. Fatherhood whispered, adoption seminars, late talks on legacy. 2 dads. One hell of a team. He joke, but eyes serious. Crisis peaked year 5. Concussion protocol sidelined him. Doc's warning CTE risk. Depression crashed. He quit mid-season. Presser poised. Health over heroics. Eli showed me life's bigger. Hate mail flooded. But support surged, teammates fund. Obama's tweet. Courage on and off the field. He pivoted to coaching high school in Evanston. Mentoring queer kids with balls in hand. I thrived. Broadway rent revival. Tony nod. Red carpet hand in hand. Flashes blinding. Betrayal's last echo. A 2032 memoir by that walk-on. Blindsided. Lies twisted us as predatory. Him brainwashed. Lawsuit crushed it. Settlement funded scholarships. Gray crept in, his at temples. Mine in beard. Mom passed peacefully. 2040. Eulogy co-delivered. Tears shared. His dad followed. Deathbed grace. Proud of my boys. Legacy built. Foundation for LGBTQ plus youth sports. Camps where kids like us learn to scramble unafraid. Our son. Adopted at 8, Jaden. Fierce violinist with Mason's grin. Filled the house with chaos and chord. 50th. And Arbor reunion. Big house sunset picnic. Jake. Gray 2. Toasts. From spooning secrets to this? Legends. Mason pulls me close. Ring glinting. Best call I ever made. Under stadium lights, ghosts quiet, we dance slow, sure, to seasons of love. No day but today, indeed. Human, flawed,